Weatherby Money Radio 1510 and 99.3 FM.
Lots of sunshine, 95 degrees right now, and the market's still in negative territory for today. Dow is down about 1.6%, 272 points at 16,401. In the meantime, the S&P 500 down 29 at 1961, and the Nasdaq down 59 at 4834. Reporting for Money Radio, I'm Ken Morgan.
The views expressed on the following program do not necessarily reflect the views of Money Radio staff, management, or advertisers, and do not represent an offer to buy or sell any securities. Some interviews heard on this program may be sponsored by the participants. It's time for Health Futures with Cypress Home Care Solutions, Bob Roth. This is Arizona's only show dedicated to providing you with expert advice on how to live a longer, healthier, and happier life. To learn more, call 602-264-8009. That's 602-264-8009. Now, here's your host, Bob Roth.
Good afternoon. My name is Bob Roth, and you are listening to Health Futures, Taking Stock in You. And as the intro said, we're a show about how our aging adult population can live a healthier, happier life. And we're coming at you live from the Scottsdale Air Park on Money Radio's 1510 AM, 99.3 FM, and you can find us on the World Wide Web at moneyradio1510.com. It is Friday, September 18th. And happy Friday to everybody. And it's hard to believe we're almost halfway through September. And it's been an incredible September so far. I always talk about the weather. And, you know, the weather's kind of broken. It's, we're getting cooler mornings. Although today, and as you heard on the intro, we also have some triple digits still. But the forecast is getting better. This is why we live here. But also, this was a busy week this week. Not only do we have the debates going on, and there's a lot of attention being given to that. Thank you to Donald Trump. We got a lot of listeners and viewers watching our elections. And we also had here, because we're on Money Radio, we had the interest rate information. And I think everybody was expecting a increase, and it did not happen. So the economy is not just ready for an interest rate hike. But it's interesting, I talked about the election, and Donald Trump has really brought a lot of people to listening and watching and hearing about this election. And, it's funny because he has that reality TV show called Apprentice, and there's a lot of other reality TV shows that are out there. But truly, he is part of a real reality TV show, and that is our election process. So, I think the one thing that we can thank for him, and, whether you agree with his politics or not, Americans are watching. And they're watching our election, and this is the most important election in our lifetime, and probably the lifetime of our country, maybe even the world. So, let's see what happens over the next 14 months. We got a lot of time left. But I want to get back to the show. The show is about how our aging adult population can live a healthier life and happier, healthier life. And we've had some great guests on the show, and that's really what Health Futures is about. It's about bringing meaningful content and great guests on the show, and today is no different. And I'm very pleased to have with me in the studio, I have got Casey Kanaan, and I've got Andy Beran, and they're from Envoy America. And Envoy America is a transportation service company for seniors. And many of our aging adult population, I got to tell you, and I want to get your points of view because you guys have heard this too, and that is we love our independence. We really do. And taking away the keys to our aging adults is a very difficult thing to do. And I'm going to tell you right now, and everyone that's listening in, it's going to be a very difficult day when I have to give it up. But, we've got this incredible resource here in our community. You guys have created a solution for those families and for those individuals that want to be able to go from point A to point B. And that can be from going home to the grocery store, going home to the pharmacy, going home to maybe religious services, going home and going to theater, going home, going to the opera, you name it. You provide this great service. So welcome to the show.
Well, thank you, Bob. Thank you, Bob.
Well, it's good to have you on, and I want you guys to really tell us a little bit about Envoy America and how did it come to be?
Well, thank you, Bob, and thanks for having us on the show. Envoy America was created in concept a couple of years ago, but became a reality earlier this year. It was the outcome of a number of factors that sort of came together all at once. There was certainly the data that we began to see in terms of seniors, their independence, their desire to get around, and the fact that so many seniors go through a period of time, a number of years in most cases, where they're either shouldn't be driving, probably don't want to drive, or simply can't drive. And Envoy America was created as a result, as a way of solving that situation.
So, Andy, I mean, let's be honest here. You guys just weren't sitting in a room thinking about this idea. I mean, you had to have a situation that presented itself. We're all in these businesses. For me, my listening audience knows that I got into this business because of my mom and being a caregiver. So I can't imagine you guys were just saying, well, what can we do? How did this idea come up? Because it really is a nice niche that you've created.
It's a great question. I think that it's a combination of things. One is I was in the transportation business already,
okay,
and so had that experience. But there is a common theme among, definitely between Casey and myself, and really shared by the vast majority of our team, which is we all have a personal example of a relative, a friend, a neighbor who goes through the situation of not being able to drive. So in my case, it was my parents, my aging parents.
See, I knew it.
Yeah.
I knew it. There you go. All right, well, tell us a little bit about your aging parents and what they were dealing with.
Sure. Well, unfortunately, they have both passed away now. My mom fairly recently.
I'm sorry.
But as they got older, with medical problems and just with kind of the changing situation and their discomfort with driving, insurance problems, and let's face it, a couple of minor accidents, they became convinced themselves that it would be better not to drive. But they live in Washington in the Rockville, Maryland area. There's no solution. They didn't want to wait for a taxi and didn't trust taxis. The bus was down the street around the corner. And you had a number of other solutions like Dial-A or the equivalent of Dial-A-Ride. Did not work well for them. And they asked me again and again, hey, what am I supposed to do? How are we supposed to get around? If we can't get around, we're going to have to move, and we don't want to move.
Great story and great, really, premise to us how you created Envoy America. Now, you guys are partners.
We are.
And do you have a similar situation? I mean, as to why you got into it, or you guys have history, and I want to bring that up in the second segment to talk about how you guys became friends. But did you have an experience like that, Casey?
Thank you, Bob. I do, and my situation was very similar to Andy's. My parents were getting older. They couldn't drive. We did not live close to them. And they were struggling to keep their independence, keep their freedom. So when Andy and I were talking, it made perfect sense. And that's how we started the company.
As you can hear, we got a little Eric Clapton coming on, and that means we're up against a break. But I want to take the next segment and really talk about how the two of you guys came together. So you're listening to Health Futures, Taking Stock in You. And we've got Envoy America in our studio. I've got Casey and Andy. We'll be right back.
Here's Here's your Money Minute with Market Wrap host Mo Ansari.
If you follow the markets, you've probably been getting seasick lately. But what if I told you that market volatility can be a good thing? If you're a bargain hunter, this is your coupon. So keep your shopping list handy. If you're a long-term investor with plenty of time before retirement, the money going into your 401k each month will buy more shares when the markets are down. And if you have a good financial plan, you can relax while others worry, because that plan will carry you beyond today's headlines. Of course, you should always consider professional guidance before making any financial decisions. That's your Money Minute. I'm Mo Ansari.
For more tips on investing during market volatility and other investment topics, listen to Market Wrap weekdays at 5 p.m. on this station. For a free consultation with Mo Ansari, call 800-388-9700. That's 800-388-9700.
Compact Asset Management is a registered investment advisor. Funds custodian, Fidelity Institutional Wealth Services, member FINRA SIPC.
Fiat of Scottsdale. Easy as 1, 2, 3. According to results posted this month by the manufacturer, Fiat of Scottsdale sells more new Fiats than any other dealer in Arizona. Here's why. 1. When you come to Fiat of Scottsdale, you'll find smart, smiling women and men who are genuinely helpful. That's nice. 2. We have an enormous selection. More than 100 brand new Fiats in all kinds of colors with all kinds of options ready and waiting for you. And 3. Huge discounts. Pick a brand new 2015 Fiat Pop and enjoy $2,250 in rebates and another $3,308 in Fiat of Scottsdale discounts. Your new Fiat really pops at just $11,987. Or choose the all-new 2016 Fiat 500X, the perfect combination of fun and function. With $1,500 in Fiat rebates and another $1,500 in Fiat of Scottsdale discounts, your new Fiat 500X is an exceptional value at just $17,900. Both offers plus tax, title, license, and $395 dock fee. People, choice, and price. Easy as 1, 2, 3. Fiat of Scottsdale, 78th at Frank Lloyd Wright, or online anytime at fiatofscottsdale.com.
For the latest in the world of golf, tune into Inside Golf every Monday morning at 7:18 right here on Money Radio. Inside Golf is brought to you by Bodify and Cool Sculpting, where confidence takes shape.
Now back to Health Futures, taking stock in you. If you have questions about your own or your loved one's future health care, call 602-264-8009. Now, here's your host, Cypress Home Care Solutions, Bob Roth.
Welcome back. My name is Bob Roth, and you're listening to Health Futures Taking Stock in You. We're a weekly show found right here on Money Radio, and if you missed the first segment, we're on our second segment. If you missed it, you can find it right up on our website. It's cypresshomecare.com. We're coming close to about 80 segments. We've been on since January 2014. And as I said at the top of the hour, we are a show about how our older population, or elders, can live a healthier, happier life, or aging adults, as I sometimes call it. And in our first segment, we talked to Andy, and we talked to Casey, and we talked about Envoy America and how it really came to be. And just before we broke, Casey, you were telling me very similar story to Andy's. It involved your parents in getting around. And Andy, you also shared at the same time that you are in the transportation business. Can you enlighten us a little bit about that? Because I think that was probably the foray also to getting into this business, correct?
Sure. Thanks, Bob. I've been in the transportation business for about 5 years. I own a company called Quality Transport Services of Arizona, and the company is involved in transporting people in wheelchairs and stretchers primarily. So this is an outgrowth of that focus, as you said, on seniors.
Right. And you saw the need personally, and you actually probably saw that through Quality Transportation too.
Exactly.
And
exactly.
You provide an incredible service, by the way, just so our listening audience understands this. Being in the caregiving business, we sometimes get people that transfer from, a high acute setting into the home, and they can't get in a car, and they're not able to get into, any standard type of automobile, and they need the vans and the special equipment that you have. So you provide a great service for our community.
Thank you.
So thank you. And, if you're just tuning in, the name of the company is called Envoy America, and you can find them at envoyamerica.com, or you can call them at 602-687-6345. I just pulled up your website, and the first thing that comes up is this little box that says sign up for coupons and specials. So you guys are doing a lot of stuff to really promo yourselves. And you also have gotten some great pubs I read about you guys in the Arizona Republic. I read about you guys in the Jewish News of Greater Phoenix. So you guys are doing a really good job. You're doing some good work out in the community. I want our listening audience to understand a little bit about how you guys came together, because I know you had Quality Transport. And Casey, I know that you and Andy had a working relationship, not just for a year or two. You had a working relationship for a number of years. So Casey, why don't I let you finish up and talk a little bit about how the two you guys got together.
Sure. Thank you, Bob. Andy and I, we go back to the late 1990s. We both worked at Intel. As a matter of fact, Andy was my boss at some point. Learned a lot from Andy. And so we go back about 16, 17 years as it started as a working relationship. We traveled the world, promoting Intel products, managing the business, acquiring companies, integrating the companies into Intel. And we stayed friends. So when Andy left and I left in 2006, we've stayed as friends, as colleagues. We talked on a regular basis, and then this opportunity came about. Late last year, my wife and I had a business in Boston that we sold, and then was looking for another adventure. And then Andy, when we were talking, and like Andy mentioned, we were experiencing similar challenges with our parents, and it made sense. So that's how we came back together.
And it does make sense, but interesting enough, for us Arizonans that live here, we know that Intel has a great presence here. And I believe it's in Chandler, right? Mm-hmm. Chandler, and you guys worked there. But, Casey, I had a chance to talk to you. You guys worked elsewhere, too, with some of the other Intel plants. You guys have had a chance to really travel around and see the world.
Absolutely. We started in Northern California, in the Sacramento region, in Folsom. That's when we worked together. But
that's when you worked for Andy.
Correct. Correct.
I just want to get the record straight.
Absolutely. He was a great boss, and he continues to be a great mentor and a great business
partner. There you go.
Absolutely. But yeah, we worked together. We traveled Europe, Asia. We spent a lot of time in Israel, working with our team in Israel. So we've traveled the world, and we've not just in the U.S., but other parts of the world working for Intel.
And, you know, it's interesting. You brought up Israel. And, I want to just share with our listening audience that, Andy, you're Jewish. And Casey, you're Palestinian. And you know what? Palestinians and Jews can work together. I mean, you guys are evidence of doing that. So
absolutely.
It's wonderful.
One thing we found is that, we're not the first to discover this, but Palestinians and Jews share a lot of common heritage and certainly share the entrepreneurial spirit. It is amazing. So the power of both a Palestinian and a Jew together it can't be beat.
Oh, it can't be beat. And you guys have done a fantastic job. You really have. And, the company is how old now?
We're all of 9 months old, I think, officially. So
9 months old. You guys have really gained some traction. You've gotten some notoriety, and I wanted to have you on our show because of the services you provide for our aging adult population right here in Phoenix. And I want you to talk a little bit about that. Talk a little bit about the services that you provide. One of the things that really comes quick to my mind is, Uber's gotten a lot of publicity. A ton of publicity, and I can talk about Uber till the cows come home, but everybody listening in either has used Uber or knows somebody that's used Uber, and it's an incredible service. It really, truly is. Is Envoy just Uber for seniors?
I'm not sure what Uber is. Maybe you can fill me in later. But no, Envoy America is not Uber. We're not in competition with Uber. Uber's a fantastic company, provides an important service. But what Envoy America, first of all, our market is restricted to seniors. So the company was built from the ground up to meet the needs of seniors. And the way we interpret that is Envoy America is a door-to-door service. So our drivers and team members walk right up to your door, knock on your door, help you out to the vehicle, basically take you wherever you need to go. 1 stop, 2 stops, 3 stops. We stay with you the entire time. So if you're going to a doctor's appointment, we take you to the doctor. We'll wait. As soon as the doctor's appointment is done, we'll head off to the pharmacy, pick up a prescription, and then maybe stop at, for some frozen yogurt or a cup of coffee, head home after that. So the other thing about Envoy America is that we're subscription-based. So most of our passengers sign up for a number of hours. Our introductory package is for 4 hours for the first month. After that, we'll adjust the subscription package to reflect their needs. And then our passengers and our customers reserve in advance. So they'll let us know that next Thursday they have a doctor's appointment. Well, when they call to make a reservation with us, we ask them 2 simple questions. First of all, who are we talking to? Make sure we know. When do you want to be picked up? And how long will you be out and about? That's it. It's that easy.
Well, and it's interesting because our aging adult population has a lot of scheduled activities. And activities can be going to the doctors or maybe scheduled card games or mahjong games or whatever they are. And the nice thing is, and I would imagine, and correct me if I'm wrong, I mean, your drivers, when they sign up for a subscription, the client, when they sign up for a subscription, they can pretty much get the same driver, right? They can request that same driver because, you call a car service, you call a cab, you get an Uber, if you would, you're going to get someone different every time.
Right.
And for our aging adult population, and I know this with Cypress Home Care, when a care recipient opens up their door to a caregiver, they open up their life to them. And for you guys, I mean, I would imagine it's more than just the driving, the transportation. It's really a connection between the driver and the client themselves.
Absolutely, Bob. When the client calls, like Andy said, we ask them, do you prefer a man or a woman to drive you? Some of them, they say, I'm very comfortable with a lady driving me, as when some clients ask for that. When they call again to reserve a ride, if they want to use the same Envoy driver, absolutely, we do our best to set them up with the same driver. That they're in control. The only difference between driving yourself and using Envoy is we do the driving for you, but the client is in control. Where to go, when to go, how to get there, and when to come back. One thing that just want to add to Andy's comment is the service is old-fashioned. When clients call to make reservations, they're talking to a live person. It's not a smartphone app. Nothing against using technology to interact with your client, but for us, it's old-fashioned. We talk to the client, we listen to them, we treat them the way they would like to be treated versus relying on a smartphone app to make reservations.
And, there's, like you said, there's nothing wrong with a smartphone app. But this generation, predominantly the silent generation, has a difficult time using that. And I think that's what makes your model so enticing and so desirable to our aging adult population is that they get a real person. I think that's one of the things that our new generation is missing. And they're communicating with them. And they're developing a rapport and a relationship with the driver, hopefully, that they like. And I would also imagine if they get a driver that they don't so much like, they can request someone new the next time.
Absolutely. Just to add on this point.
I think we're up against a break here, Casey.
No problem, Bob. No problem.
No, but I want you to add that.
Sure.
For those listeners that didn't hear me at the top of the hour, I got Envoy America in the studio here at Money Radio, and I've got Casey Kanaan, and I've got Andy Beran, and you are listening to Health Futures Taking Stock in You. We'll be right back.
As we reach the bottom of the hour, we pause for a look at the world's news. Then we're back with Money Talk. We're Money Radio 1510 and 99.3 FM.
Donald Trump under fire for failing to correct a question at a town hall meeting. An attendee made derogatory comments about Muslims and claimed the president is Muslim. White House spokesman Josh Earnest referenced a similar attack on the president in 2008.
It is too bad that he wasn't able to summon the same kind of patriotism that we saw from Senator McCain. Responded much more effectively and directly when one of his supporters at one of his campaign events about 7 years ago raise the same kind of false claims.
Army Sergeant Bo Bergdahl's pretrial hearing continues for a second day.
The defense lawyer called Major General Kenneth Dahl. Dahl said a broad range of people from Bergdahl's unit described him as a very good soldier who always had a clean weapon, clean uniform, and sharp knives. He described Bergdahl as idealistic, and that may have been a result of Bergdahl's love of reading.
Less than a half hour before the closing bell on Wall Street, the Dow is down 289 points. I'm John Trout.
Call Quicken Loans now at 800-QUICKEN to see if you qualify for the government's Home Affordable Refinance Program, or HARP. And for 5 years in a row now, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation in customer satisfaction. And for the second year in a row, they've also ranked us highest in mortgage servicing. Call 800-QUICKEN or visit QuickenLoans.com.
Visit jdpower.com for award information. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org. Number 3030.
Your local pharmacist is also a Health Mart pharmacist. And they're not like other pharmacists.
After Mom's surgery, I was overwhelmed. But I was so relieved. Her Health Mart pharmacist was there to help. They explained her medication and even delivered to her house. Mom got the personal service she needed, and I got something even better. Peace of mind.
Visit healthmart.com to find a locally owned Health Mart pharmacy near you. Health Mart, caring for you and about you.
A little good advice can go a long way. A long way toward meeting your retirement goals, that is. You'll get it right here on Money Radio every day.
Hi, I'm Johnny Dean. And I'm Rick, the Professor Plum. Every day on Bucket Strategy Investing, we're talking about financial planning, investment decisions, and retirement strategies. We focus on wealth education and the strategy designed for the needs you have today and the goals you have for the future. Tune in to Bucket Strategy Investing and call in with questions. Retirement strategies, taxes, Social Security, and more. That's what we're talking about on Bucket Strategy Investing.
Laura Bramnick is a real estate agent and a real estate attorney and a consumer advocate. If you have distressed property, a possible short sale or foreclosure, you need more than a real estate agent. You need a good attorney. You're not alone. Laura can help. For more information, visit talkrealestateaz.com or call 480-624-2705. That's 480-624-2705. To talk with Laura, call 480-624-2705.
Hi, this is Rick Murray with the Arizona Small Business Association. Join us every Friday at 9 a.m. right here on Money Radio 1510 a.m. and 99.3 FM for Small Business Edge, where each week we'll explore the challenges and opportunities of running a small business. Arizona is a great place to live and to own a business, and we can all use all the help we can get. That's Small Business Edge, Fridays at 9 a.m. right here on Money Radio 1510 a.m. and 99.3 FM. Brought to you by the Arizona Small Business Association.
Mondays are the most profitable day of the week. When you listen to Money Making Mondays with the microcap master, Evan Greenberg, Chief Investment Strategist for the Legend Cap Opportunity Fund. For more info, call Evan at 516-662-0303. That's 516-662-0303. Or email Evan at legendcapfunds.com. And tune in Mondays at 1 p.m. for Money Making Monday.
Join us Saturday, September 19th at the Scottsdale Center for the Arts for the Lupus Foundation of America's Walk to End Lupus Now. Sign up today at walktoendlupus.org.
I'm Bruce Vail with Your Money Now. Coca-Cola shares are down nearly 1%. Coke said it has been notified by the Internal Revenue Service that it owes more than $3 billion in federal income taxes plus interest after an audit found the company's reported income from 2007 to 2009 should have been higher. Coke said the dispute relates to transfer pricing, or how it reports income from foreign transactions. Shopify has struck a deal with Amazon to allow third-party sellers currently using the Amazon web store to migrate their businesses to a Shopify account with no business interruption. The deal will enable merchants that have Shopify stores to cross-list their products on Amazon's marketplace. Stocks are headed for steep losses to end the week. The Dow Jones Industrial Average is down 293 points. The Nasdaq Composite is off 64 points, and the S&P 500 is down 31 points. That's Your Money Now.
We help farmers make the best use of their land, which means healthier crops, higher yields, and fewer harvesting hours, which is good news for a growing population and good news for the environment. BASF. We create chemistry.
I'm terrible with money. Apparently, a PhD in physics won't help me predict the trajectory of my own retirement. So I work with TIAA-CREF. You get quality, personalized advice no matter what your balance is. For me, they make investing as easy as Newtonian physics.
Advice for everyone. One more way TIAA-CREF is created to serve and built to perform. Visit TIAA.org. TIAA-CREF Individual Institutional Services, LLC. This testimonial is an accurate portrayal. Advice is subject to institutional plan rules. Investing involves risk. Individual results will vary.
Now back to Health Futures, taking stock in you. If you have questions about your own or your loved one's future health care, call 602-264-8009. Now, here's your host, Cypress Home Care Solutions, Bob Roth.
Welcome back. My name is Bob Roth, and you're listening to Health Futures, taking stock in you. We're on our third segment here, and if you missed the first two, you can find it up on cypresshomecare.com and push on the radio button up on the top or midway down, and you'll catch this segment, and you'll also catch almost 80 others that we've been producing here at Money Radio since January 2014. So if you're just joining us, I have got Casey Kanaan and Andy Beran here in our studio, and they are the owners of Envoy America. It's a transportation services company for seniors. And Casey, I left off talking to you, and I know you were in the middle of just describing, customer satisfaction, customer service. So if you could just pick up where we left off before we got that break.
Thank you, Bob. Just wanted to add that customer satisfaction and making sure that the client is not just happy but delighted with what we do. The way we handle it is we call the client after each ride to make sure that they were happy, and ask what else could we have done to improve, get their feedback, make sure that they're not just, like I said, happy but delighted with the service. And that's how we handle customer satisfaction. We don't send email surveys. We don't ask somebody to use a smartphone to look at it. We do it the old-fashioned way, which is we call the person and we ask them directly for their feedback.
So Casey and Andy, I've got a question for you, because your business is catering to the same audience that Cypress Home Care Solutions caters to. And I had this question that I gave to Stephanie Bivens, who is an elder law attorney that sat right in your seat just a couple weeks ago. And that is, who's the client? Because typically, are the aging adults or older adults calling you, or is it the adult children who call us? And I'm going to tell you, when I sit down with each one of our clients, and whether it's me or one of my team members, most of the time, they're not really wanting us in that living room or at the kitchen table, because it's usually the adult child, or it might be a trusted advisor or somebody that said, hey, mom or dad, or, Mr. or Mrs. So-and-so client, you need to get some additional services, or you're not going to be able to stay home alone. And the same situation is with you guys. And I mean, the first piece of independence that usually an aging adult loses is driving. So I got to imagine that, Andy, you probably get calls not from the client themselves. You get them from the adult children.
Oh, absolutely. You're absolutely right. We are reaching out really to 3 different groups of people to tell them about Envoy America. We reach out to institutions and companies like yourself or independent living facilities. That's one. The second is the senior passenger themselves, to let them know that we're available to take them where they need to go. And the third one is a really important group of people, which is generally the adult children of the seniors. So,
and by the way, predominantly that's who's listening in our show today.
Oh,
so,
well, good.
So you got the seniors that are listening, and you also have a lot of adult children that are listening too.
So we get calls from everybody, but from the adult children, it's an interesting situation. I know whenever I went to visit my parents, I spent a good deal of my time catching up on their errands, taking them to the bank, taking them to doctor's appointments, and what have you. And we live 3,000 miles away. Now, if you live in the same town as your parents, you may need to take off from work or spend your weekends or whatever traveling with your parents. Not that that's a bad thing. You're a good son or a good daughter, and you're helping out as you can. But more importantly is having an alternative when you do have an important meeting, when you are out of town traveling, or when you really get to the point where you want to let your parents know that, no, they don't have to rely on you personally or interfere with your life, but they do have an alternative, a personal driver that can take them where they need to go, and that's Envoy America.
And you mentioned, really, disrupting your life. And, us adult children, because we all are, we have a lot on our plate as it is with our own children and with our own lives. So really, our listening audience listening in, this is a great service to be able to not so much disrupt your life because we have livings that we have to do, but we could supplement that by having a service like Envoy America help our aging adult parents out.
Absolutely, Bob. One of the things that we hear from our clients, the adult children, is by using a service like Envoy, they get to spend more quality time with their mom or dad instead of running to the bank or post office or go to a doctor's visit. They can still spend time with them, but they're doing more quality activities like going to lunch or going to service instead of having to run all these errands. And they love the service we provide because we treat their mom or dad the way they would treat them, and that's the feedback we get.
No, that's awesome. It really is, and it's a great service. There's a great need for this, and I like the personalization. I love the fact that you're surveying and getting feedback. So you survey the driver or the person that you're transporting, the aging adult that you're transporting. Do you survey the adult children too? Do you find out how they get feedback? I'm just curious.
Absolutely, we do stay in touch with not just the clients, the seniors themselves or their children, but also the drivers. So before we call the client or their adult children to see how the ride went, we're also talking to the driver, the Envoy driver, to see if there's anything that we need to know about, and then match their feedback to the feedback we get from the client. So yes, we are talking to everybody to make sure that they're delighted.
Perfect, absolutely perfect. So, is Envoy America expensive? What are we looking at? Because I know that that's one of the first things that our listening audience is listening in. Okay, so how much does this all cost?
So Envoy America is priceless. We always talk about
MasterCard promotion.
So we always talk about value and what you get for your money. But let me go through the nuts and bolts of the pricing. So like we talked about, generally we price on a subscription basis. So our methodology to introduce somebody to Envoy America and the service we provide is to start with a promotional coupon. So that's half off your first ride or your first hour with Envoy America.
And that promotional coupon comes right up on your website.
And we offer it to everybody, and we encourage you to take advantage of it. Once you try us once, we're pretty convinced you'll try us again, and then we start you with what we call the Independence Plan. So that's a 4-hour subscription. That generally would be good for maybe 2, 3, even 4 rides around town. By then you'll know a driver, you'll have a pretty good sense of the fact that we always show up on time. And then we move you to a subscription plan that's based on the number of hours that you need, 1, 2, 3 trips a week.
Got it. So, realistically, what are we looking at per hour and then the half price so we can just get this out to the listening audience?
Absolutely. If you want to travel with Envoy America on a per hour basis, it's $39 an hour. Any other services or packages that you purchase from us will be less. So basically you're buying in volume.
So for the first hour, you get it for $19.50 to try it out.
Exactly. And then
I encourage our listening audience to try this. This is a no-brainer.
And the independence rate is $98.
So the subscription rate is $98
for 4 hours. And that by then, I think hopefully you've internalized the value of the service that we provide, and we go from there.
Well, I know we're coming up on another break. I want to talk about, when we do come back, I want to talk a little bit about the drivers and how you select them, because our business is about caregivers, and you guys have to find drivers. And let me tell you something, it's not an easy thing finding caregivers, and I got to imagine it's a challenge finding drivers. We have to kiss about 30 frogs before we can get maybe one or two. So I want to pick up on that when we come back, but you're listening to Health Futures Taking Stock in You. My name is Bob Roth. I got Andy Beran, and I've got Casey Kanaan from Envoy America here in the studio. We will be right back.
If you're like most Money Radio listeners, you get a little busy sometimes, meaning you can't always hear your favorite shows. Now you can tune in anytime to one of the best retirement shows on the radio, Mastering Money, with wealth manager Steve Jurich and the doctor, Sinclair No. Heard weekdays at 8 a.m. live or at 5 p.m. or 6 p.m. or noon. It's really up to you. Download the Mastering Money app for your Apple or Android device, or click on the podcast at masteringmoneyradio.com. See you there.
Most of the listeners of the station have a mortgage of some type. My question is, why? My name is Joe Capitano, Senior Vice President, Homeowners Financial Group. Think of what life would be like if you didn't have a mortgage, that extra cash each month to enjoy or to invest. And I can show you how to eliminate that mortgage in a fraction of the time without changing any of your current spending habits. It's so simple, it'll just amaze you. Call me today and let me get you back on the road to financial freedom. The interest savings alone could put your kids through college or maybe fund your retirement. Call me, Joe Capitano, 480-305-8545, 480-305-8545, or just go to joeloans.com. Back number 090-6222, MS number 9826, Equal Housing Lender. That's Joe Capitano, 480-305-8545. That's Joe Capitano, 480-305-8545, 480-305-8545, or just go to joeloans.com.
Hi, everybody. I'm Ray Lucia, and I talk about your money, your business, and your life right here on the radio. So if you happen to have any money-type questions, well, worry not. That's because I'm here to provide you with the most sound financial advice in the country. So tune in to the Ray Lucia Show every weekday, 10 to 11 a.m., right here on Money Radio 1510 a.m. and 99.3 FM.
Tune in every Wednesday at 10 a.m. for Precious Timber with Alex Wilson on Money Radio 1510 a.m. and 99.3 FM.
SRP customers, learn how you could win autographed Cardinals prizes and help plant trees in Arizona land destroyed by fire. Visit srptreesforchange.com.
Now back to Health Futures, taking stock in you. If you have questions about your own or your loved one's future health care, call 602-264-8009. Now, here's your host, Cypress Home Care Solutions, Bob Roth.
Welcome back. My name is Bob Roth, and you're listening to Health Futures Taking Stock in You. And if you're just tuning in, we're on our fourth segment, and I've got Envoy America in the studio. I got Casey Kanaan, I said that way too fast, and Andy Beran here in the studio, and we've been talking about this incredible service for our aging adult population. If you missed the first three segments, you can catch it right up on our website at cypresshomecare.com. Before we took the break, we were talking about people. And we're in a people business. We service people. Cypress does the same. We serve our aging adult population, and we do that through providing caregivers. And at Envoy America, you service the same population base, and you do it through drivers. Can you talk to us a little bit about how you select your drivers? Because this is really important for our listening audience to hear this.
Sure, absolutely, Bob. We ended the segment by you describing that you kiss 30 frogs to get one. We go through the same process. We probably kiss 30 to 50 frogs to get the right driver to help our clients. Our drivers, they're all in their 50s and 60s. They're hand-picked, background checked, drug tested, so they're qualified, screened to take care of the clients we serve. The most important test that we use is, do we want this same person to serve our parents, our mom or dad, and do we trust them to take care of them? And if the answer is yes, and the driver has gone through a similar experience where they've seen their mom or dad or a relative struggle to stay independent, then they would make a great driver.
And you know, I talked about our listening audience, and certainly I'm appealing to our listening audience that may need this type of service. But Casey, as you just mentioned, I mean, you kiss 30, maybe to 50 frogs. We have many people that are listening to this show right now that could be incredible drivers for you guys. Could be incredible caregivers for us as well. It's an incredibly rewarding experience, and certainly, you know, I gave the website and the phone number out before. So if you're looking for the service, or you are thinking about, this is something I would love to do, reach out to Envoy America, envoyamerica.com, or 602-687-6345. So you guys have packages, subscriptions, but you also have some promos. And we're coming up on the holidays. I mean, I can't believe we're almost through September. September 18th, you know, what kind of packages do you have? And, you know, we're talking about Thanksgiving, we're talking about Christmas, we're talking about New Year's, especially New Year's. I mean, you know, I know a lot of people, and even our aging adult population, likes to have a glass of wine or a little bit of bourbon, and I mean, they should not be getting behind the wheel. So, Andy, why don't you share with us what you guys are doing?
Absolutely. We have the gift for the holiday season. So we call it giving the gift of freedom. So if your parents are in a situation where maybe they shouldn't be driving, or you don't want them to drive, or they don't want to drive anymore, you can give them the gift of freedom. Just call Envoy America. We're about to introduce it. I don't have all the pricing details yet, but we're going to roll it out in the next couple of weeks. It'll be a special gift certificate that you can put under the tree or the menorah or whatever, and give your parents or a loved one the gift of freedom for the holiday season.
It's the gift that keeps giving.
It does.
You know, and for our listening audience, Cypress Home Care Solutions is a agency, a home care, employer-based home care agency caring for our aging adult population, where we do some driving for people. And, you know, we don't just do the driving. We care for the people in their home. We help them with meal prep. We help them with what we call activities of daily living, so maybe getting dressed, bathing, reminding them to take medication. And I think Casey described it best. You guys take the aging adult person, the senior, if you would, from their home to their destination. You just don't go inside the door when they get to the home. And that's where Cypress comes into play. So for our listening audience, Envoy America provides an incredible transportation solution for families. And Cypress Home Care Solutions, if you would, provides that caregiving that person needs.
Absolutely, Bob. We complement what Cypress does. We think Cypress does a wonderful job taking care of the clients, and we complement what you do. We don't replace it. We feel that we help you, and you help us deliver exceptional service to the clients.
It's a value-added benefit, and really I want to emphasize the value. I mean, the pricing structure that you've got is really something that many of our adult children out there should be biting into this, saying, you know what, this is a great solution for my mom or dad or my loved one or my neighbor. You know, we're about ready to wrap up our show, and I'm going to give you guys an opportunity to share whatever final thoughts or comments you want to share with our listening audience about Envoy America, or anything in general. If you want to talk about the weather, you want to talk about the Arizona Cardinals, who are playing the Chicago Bears on Sunday. They're looking really good. So, tell me what you'd like to share.
Sure, absolutely. Thank you again, Bob, for having us on your show. We really enjoyed it. The last thing I'd like to share is, when we started the business, we were in the Scottsdale, Paradise Valley, Fountain Hills area. but we've been getting calls from across the valley. So we are about to cover the entire Phoenix area.
Nice.
If you're in need of this type of service, please call us, 602-687-6345. Talk to us, and we will do our best to take care of you the same way we want somebody to take care of our mom or dad.
You know, Casey, we have a listenership that spans not only Arizona but the entire country and the world. So people are listening in outside of Phoenix. Envoy America, any expansion plans in the plan?
So that's a great question. We do have plans to expand across the country. We will be introducing new locations as we go. People should call us and just let us know of their interest. It helps us decide which locations to go in which priority order. But I do want to say, in spite of the national footprint that we're working towards, Envoy America is built on a customer by customer by customer approach. So
individualized.
Got it. Right. So we treat every person as an individual.
No, I love it. Any plans for the weekend?
Watch a little
the Cardinals.
Cardinals.
Cardinals and college ball.
Yeah, we got a Bears fan in the back of the room here, but I'm sorry, Brian, about your Bears. They're going down. The Cardinals are the real deal. I'm telling you. Carson Palmer stays healthy, and that guy John Fells. I mean, professional basketball player now playing football.
Absolutely.
Serious? I mean, feeling really good about our NFL team, and feeling really good about your services, and they complement ours very nicely at Cypress Home Care Solutions. Envoy America, and the phone number is 602-687-6345, envoyamerica.com. And, I just want to conclude by saying, Cypress Home Care Solutions, we're, both of us are not only providing a great service for our aging adult population, and as I shared with us before, with our listening audience before, you're looking for drivers. We're looking for caregivers. So please, if you're listening in and you've got a friend, neighbor, family member, somebody that's got heart, that's got compassion, that wants to really give and do something that's incredibly rewarding, whether it's hands-on with Cypress Home Care or whether it's sitting behind the wheel and occupying an aging adult person's time and having conversation with them and enabling them from getting from point A to point B, sometimes to point C, to point D, and then back to point A. Envoy America is your solution. You're listening to Health Futures, taking stock in you, and I think that's it, guys.
Thank you, Bob.
Thank you very much, Bob.
I've really enjoyed having you guys on. Make it a great Friday. Have a great weekend. We will be back on next Friday right here at noon. You're listening to Health Futures, taking stock in you. Make it a great day.
There's no place like home. You've been listening to Bob Roth Health Futures. If you have questions about your own or your loved one's future health care, call Cypress Home Care Solutions at 602-264-8009. That's 602-264-8009. Or visit CypressHomeCare.com. Be sure to join Health Futures with Bob Roth every Friday at noon, right here on Money Radio 1510 and 99.3 FM.
Market Wrap with Mo Ansari is your daily source for financial news and analysis. With over 30 years of trading experience, Mo shares his thoughts on the markets, answers your financial questions, and features guest experts from around the world covering a variety of investment topics. Visit MarketWrapWithMo.com for more info about the show and listen to Market Wrap with Mo Ansari.
Radio 1510 and 99.3 FM
is KFNN Mesa Phoenix and K257CD Phoenix. Get to know over 40 companies and exhibitors at the Money Radio event of the year, Financial Fest, Saturday, November 14th. And as always, the admission is free. Dow is now down 303 points. S&P 500 down 33, the NASDAQ down 68.
When people want to talk about money, this is the place they come to. And there's more on the way after this break for the latest news. And we begin